Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show tonight. I want to talk about Hong Kong. Hong Kong is the center hub for trade for China. It's like it's a big outlet. It's like it's like an outlet. Like it's a huge center hub for trading. Now, here's the thing. If Hong Kong has a special status with the United States and stuff. If they revoke that special status, it's going to really affect the Chinese economy big time. And this is why China is holding back. Because they know if they go in there with force into Hong Kong to suppress these riots, the United States could evoke the special status. Also, the United States could punish Hong Kong with further, harder, bigger, more qualifying tariffs. This has the potential to be explosive for the markets. Explosive not to the upside. I'm talking about explosive to the downside. Hong Kong is key right now. And why it's key is there's an awful lot of other things going on in the world right now that can affect the markets seriously, adversely affect the markets. Heck, we got a huge failing institution, Deutsche Bank. Oh my gosh, that could affect the markets. But, you know, if there's if these things start to cause, now, there's been other economists out there who I listen to very, very carefully, and they've done some very serious research. And any significant drops to the markets now could create a situation where dominoes start to fall within the credit markets. We could likely have a credit freeze. We could then see interest rates rebound upwards sharply, causing everything that's basically in the markets in the world to actually seize. They'd have to rush in with liquidity to get things back open again. We're in a terrible situation. Now, I want to tell you guys some more about Hong Kong. Information that I just heard. This weekend, now, you have to understand that the Chinese have pulled military in. And they're doing what's called exercises not far from Hong Kong. This military, these paramilitary that's in there right now, that China has in there, are basically riot control squads. They've got people scoopers. I've seen photos. They've got people scoopers, sort of like the movie Soylent Green. If you guys haven't seen the movie Soylent Green, they had people scoopers, and they'd scoop the people up, and they would dump them into wagons and take them off and never to be seen again. They've got giant earth-moving machines that are people scoopers. And they've got what's called they're all personnel carriers. I get the acronym mixed up on them, but they're called personnel carriers. And inside those, they got troops, and they're like tanks. They're like tanks, but they're like tanks that are full of troops. They've got all kinds. The Chinese have pulled in all kinds of equipment 10 minutes away from Hong Kong. They can be there. They're bragging that they can be there in 10 minutes. They've already produced videos saying, "We will use force against the rioters." If they use force in Hong Kong, there's going to be tremendous repercussions. Not just for China, but for all of the world's markets, because China's a trading hub. China was a British colony, and they're supposed to go back over give it back to China at a certain date. I think it's 2047, if I remember right. Anyway, they're not really all together. Hong Kong has a certain amount of autonomy. They have a certain amount of independence from China. China has troops stationed in Hong Kong. Believe it's 6,000 in a garrison of troops, Chinese troops in Hong Kong. China's basically got Hong Kong surrounded. But they're not doing anything yet. But they say, we're not going to sit on our hands while this transpires. That's what China's already said. We're not going to sit on our hands and watch this happen. They use the expression, we're not going to sit on our hands. Okay, so we got that laid out. Now here's what I heard is going to happen this weekend in Hong Kong. They're planning a huge rally. I think it's like on Sunday. Like 300,000 people. Now that the Hong Kong police have said, no march. What I heard is the protesters are going to decide to march anyway. That's what I've heard. Rumors. It's only a rumor. But that's what I've heard. That they're planning on marching anyway. Now, this is a recipe for it's a recipe for disaster. For violence. It's a recipe. It's a recipe for that. You know? Could this be the situation this Sunday that brings in the Chinese military? This big rally on Sunday. Could it be a situation that brings in the Chinese military? And what will the Chinese military do if they come in there? Okay? These are big questions that I'm asking that are unanswered at this point in time. We're going to have to wait until Sunday to see what happens. But if the Chinese military comes in there and they do something like happened in Tiananmen Square, some sort of a terrible situation happens in Hong Kong, the United States is going to clamp down hard. Very hard. I can see the first thing that the United States might do is Hong Kong's special status might be gone. For world trade, this is huge. Monday, if that happens on Sunday, Monday would most likely, in the markets, be a Black Monday. This could quite literally trigger the, if the market falls too far, too quickly, it could trigger a number of other effects. It could lead, actually, to the credit markets freezing up. If that happens, we're in a terrible situation, folks. It could all happen so fast because now the markets are all electronic. They're all computer driven. Computer algorithms drive the markets. And the markets could freeze up, and within a matter of minutes, the credit markets could freeze up. Say, well, what does that mean for me? It means that you go in to your favorite restaurant Monday for lunch, and there would be a sign on the restaurant that says, we do not take debit cards. We do not take credit cards. No credit cards, no debit cards. Cash only, it would say, at your favorite restaurant. Keep this in mind, guys. Just want to give you guys a heads up. Monday could end up being a bank holiday. This whole thing could come to a head just that quick over the weekend. Quite seriously, we're in that kind of a world right now where computer algorithms do all the trading. Something really big like this could start a sell-off in the markets, an enormous sell-off in the markets, and then trigger the credit market. Could all happen so fast within a matter of minutes and freeze up credit. And the banks just basically freeze everything. They freeze your account. They freeze all your credit cards. They freeze everything, just freezes. I want you guys to think about this a little bit. Let it sink in that we are living in that kind of world where this actually could happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen Monday, but I'm just saying we're living in the kind of world where this can happen. And if it doesn't happen Monday, it could happen very soon within the next few months, because we got a lot of big problems that are unresolvable. Another problem is, tonight I heard that Hong Kong's on the verge of a recession. Huge! That's huge. Germany's on the verge of recession. We're adding to the list of countries that are either going into recession or already in recession. It's spreading around the world. The credit binge either has to continue, or everything locks up. So if everything locks up, then they're going to have to binge the system in order to get everything back going again. Incredible situation. If you guys are on this channel and you haven't subscribed to Financial Turmoil Explained or the Delta Report, I cover these stories in much more detail on those other channels. This channel's I don't really go into too much detail, but the news is so big right now that I need to get it out there to you guys, and I need to effectively get this information out to you guys on all three of my channels as best as I possibly can, because the situation is actually getting dire at this point in time. Thank you guys for listening. You're welcome to spread this information from my channel. And we'll catch you guys in the very next show. Bye-bye, guys.